Combination of the warm waters out in the Atlantic, that tends to make you think it's going to be a busier season. But a bigger factor is going to be the El Nino phenomena that's developing in the Pacific Ocean, which is cooler water. And the reason that's going to be the more dominant force is the El Nino feature typically brings stronger winds at 30,000 feet over the Gulf of Mexico, which tends to inhibit hurricane development. So, typically for these El Nino type seasons that we're going into, it usually means a quieter season in the Gulf of Mexico, hurricane-wise. But it also means a much more active severe weather season next October, November, December timeframe. So yeah, the Atlantic Basin, including the Gulf of Mexico, we're looking at probably anywhere from 13 to 16 tropical systems with a name. And out of those, maybe 6 to 8 become a hurricane. And out of that, 1 to 4 become a Category 3 or stronger. The biggest change we have for this upcoming season is the tropical weather outlook. The last 10 years or more, we've been issuing a product from the Hurricane Center that outlines areas of potential development over the next 5 days. And this year they're expanding it to 7 days. So hopefully just give us a little bit more of a lead time of where something might be developing out in the Atlantic or the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico regions. A lot of times for the storms that are in the Gulf, they develop here in the Gulf, and you're always looking at short lead times when they develop right here in our backyard. Obviously, if we were having a major hurricane in the area, we certainly don't want anyone to be staying around this area. We're too vulnerable, not just from the wind speeds, but also from the storm surge problems.
First thing people need to remember is, if you live in Southwest Louisiana, we're going to have hurricane season every year. There's a lot of discussion about this and that, or we're going to have a hurricane or we're not going to have one. The fact is, from June 1st to November 30th, there's a chance of having a hurricane in a year. You have to prepare each year, even though the weather forecast may say otherwise. The standard things we always tell people, one of the big items now is staying in touch with your friends and family. It's very easy nowadays with cell phones and text messaging and even email. So that would be number one, get your communication plan together. Know where your friends are going, know where your family is going, so that if something does happen, you would be able to easily contact them to go check on things for you. Food and water, you need to be prepared to take care of yourself for 72 hours. We typically do a little better than that, but at least for a couple of days, if you decide to stay, particularly with a hurricane like Hurricane Laura, you're going to be on your own for food and water for a couple of days, up to maybe even a week, depending on how significant the impact was. It's always a good thing to have cash. Make sure that all your prescriptions are up to date, and make sure you bring your actual prescription bottles with you. I know a lot of people package their daily medicine, but you need to bring your bottle with you in case you get to the other end and need to go to a pharmacy. They'll at least have the prescription on there, or how to get in touch with your doctor. The other thing is supplying food for several days for the people who are staying with you. So you need to make sure that you carefully plan out all those kind of supplies that you need. Make sure you have a way to charge your cell phone, which might be just a plug into your car. If your car runs, you could start the car up and charge your cell phone up, but if your electricity's out, you'll have to come up with some other way.
We started a little earlier than the season to go ahead and get our plans together, and we conducted the evacuation exercise. But we went back and revised our plan on all that. Looked at sheltering, if we have to shelter as a last resort. We went ahead and coordinated with facilities and with Burton to go ahead and pre-stage a lot of our logistics there for the sheltering when the upcoming season. That'll be cots, MREs, water. We've worked with agencies to make sure our communication plans are in place, test out our communications plan to make sure we have interoperability to be able to talk among agencies. We are looking at our vulnerable population a little bit more. We figure more people may be struggling as far as being able to evacuate themselves. Anybody that's medical needs, so we're going ahead and pre-identify them ahead of time. We're also working with our emergency support function 8, which is health and hospitals, to go ahead and pre-stage some of our oxygen out at maybe the fire stations, and also with the remote areas to be able to get oxygen for the seniors that require oxygen in case they don't evacuate and they require the oxygen. And we've also pre-staged some of our logistics, some water and MREs over on the west side in Starks because it's more of a remote area and sometimes it's harder for us to get to them.
We have an excellent website. You can go to that website and the emergency preparedness section will be there. And if you follow some of the links that might go to the state GOSEP, they have a site called Get a Game Plan that helps you do your planning. American Red Cross has a planning site, and there are several others out there like that. We, the police jury, will be broadcasting any briefings that we have generally live. I can't say in all cases because we don't know what's going to happen, but that is in our planning is that we will be pushing out as much information as we can, primarily through social media, although we will be using the media when we have a chance.